Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing today? I know how I'm doing today, not particularly good. I still feel like garbage, but like the mailman, no matter what the conditions are, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going no matter how I happen to feel. So, we've got a little bit of Seahawks news to go over, and a little illness is not going to stop me. So, we're going to go over this latest report concerning Shelby Harris's contract, and a little after this video goes live, I'm going to go live on Twitch to do some MLB The Show, because I decided to take the day off from work because I don't feel good, but we'll see if I feel good enough to crank out some more MLB The Show. So if that's something that interests you, go check me out on Twitch shortly after this video gets uploaded. All right, so Shelby Harris. His contract has been restructured per Field Yates and Brady Henderson and several other sources. Harris got about $6.5 million of his 2022 pay converted to a bonus, which means that half of it now applies to this year, and half of it now applies to next year. So basically, you've taken $3.25 million in savings this year and moved it to 2023. So you saved about $3.25 million in 2022, but you have taken on an additional $3.25 in 2023. He remains signed through 2023 and gets some money moved up, while Seattle gets immediate cap relief. Over the cap has them with $17 million now. So for those of you who are wondering what our cap situation is as of the moment, we are $17 million under the cap for 2022, and we are massively under the cap still for 2023 still. However, there has to be a reason why the team would do this, right? Like, if you do this, you are basically saying we have some purpose that we are going to fulfill with this additional cap space, because if you didn't have a reason to do it, wouldn't you just rather carry those savings into 2023? Because, look, we have massive cap space next year. There's no doubt about that. But regardless, wouldn't you rather save that $3.25 million in 2023 unless you have a reason for doing this in 2022? So because of this, a lot of people anticipate that the Seahawks are about to do something. They're about to make some kind of move, some kind of signing, some kind of trade that requires them to have a little extra cap space. And we know the team needs to carry a little bit of extra cap space into the season because of injuries and practice squad bump ups and stuff like that. So we know that whatever they do, they're going to have to leave a few million left over. But the real question is, what could this move be? Corbin Smith, also on Twitter, says that basically what I just said. I don't know why Seattle would do this if another move wasn't imminent. Doesn't seem necessary unless they have a trade or signing coming and needed that extra money to make it happen. But then Bob Condotta on Twitter says, my understanding of Seattle's move with Shelby Harris is not a sign that a move is imminent, just a way to clear some cap space before everyone breaks for the summer. So the implication I get from this tweet is that the team wants to open their options up to make a move, but don't necessarily have a move in the barrel. They just want to make sure that if they want to make a move in the next few weeks, they have enough cap space to do it. So I'm just trying to figure out what that could be, because we had almost 14 million in cap space before this move. That should be enough to do most things. At this point in the offseason, there isn't a lot you can do to take on eight figures plus in cap space. Akeem Hicks is already off the market. He was a guy I thought we might target, but he's off the market. There are still free agents out there, don't get me wrong. There are guys you can get, and there are trade targets you can go get, but most of them are not going to cost that amount of money to where you actually needed to clear another $3.25 million in space. Now, there are two big flashing neon signs when it comes to potential moves the Seahawks could make right now. There's the DK Metcalf thing, but I don't think a DK Metcalf extension required more than the $14 million in cap space you had. We see it all the time with contracts, big contracts that go on throughout the NFL. You don't need to make that first year cap hit massive. So to me, if you were planning on extending Metcalf, the 14 million you had in cap space would have been more than enough. So I don't really believe that's it. The only other thing that people are really, they have their eye on right now would be Baker Mayfield, because you are going to need a significant amount of cap space to take on his deal, even if Cleveland takes on a good chunk of it, which at this point clearly would have to be what happens. So I don't know. I don't know what else it could be. If you look at the free agency lists, a vast majority of the players that you see who are still available, not that expensive, not a big expenditure to take on. So I'm interested to see what we end up doing with this money. It can't be for like Jordan Brooks or Darrell Taylor. They're not up for an extension yet. We don't have to worry about that. The only guy it could really be would be Metcalf. And again, I just don't think you needed that much money to do it, but maybe we're going to structure the contract in such a way that we take on some big hits early, and then later on in the contract it's a little more reasonable. That's certainly a possibility. So I don't know what to really expect here, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And I'm going to kind of echo a sentiment that I had yesterday, where I just want this team to show me they have a concrete plan that they're following, right? I want this team to show me that they have the conviction to follow through on their plan. That's one of the things that I liked about the Wilson trade, even though getting rid of Wilson, I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. At least they had the conviction to follow through with it. The conviction to go, you know what, we're not going to sit on the fence here with this guy. We're either going to build around him aggressively or let him go. And what I said about the Metcalf trade or extension also stands. It's like, either extend him or trade him. Don't have a extended holdout period where he's racking up fines and building up animosity with the team. Either trade him or extend him. And at this point, I would prefer extending him, but whatever you do, just commit to it. This is kind of the same thing. If you're going to move Shelby Harris's money to a future year to clear up cap space for this year, use that extra cap space for something. Or else you've just saved money for no reason in order to have less money in a future season. So I'm expecting the team to do something. Maybe it'll be a series of somethings. I don't know. Time will tell. But this should be a precursor to some kind of move. That's all I know. Something should be following this. It may not be until August. As long as it's before the season, it's fine. But if you weren't planning on making a significant move, you shouldn't have done this. There's no reason to do it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think might be coming. The Metcalf extension and the Mayfield trade are the two ones that are obviously going to run through everyone's minds. I'll reiterate the fact that I don't have very much interest in the Mayfield trade, and I don't think the Metcalf extension is going to need this kind of additional money. But at this point, of those two options, I hope it's that. All right, see you guys on Twitch in a few minutes if that tickles your fancy. If not, I'll see you next time I make a video. Hopefully next time I make a video, I'll be feeling a little bit better. So see you guys later. Go Hawks. And yeah, Shelby Harris restructured. What does it mean?